Next, we're going to talk about mirroring. People like people who are like them. And it's interesting because you talk to people maybe in the East Coast and they're very brash, they're very upfront. They don't like people that beat around the bush. And then you have people that are from the South, like me, I'm from Texas. So I'm used to people who are slow talking, friendly, polite Texans. But when the two come together, many times there can be friction, not because they don't have certain things in common, but because their approach to communication is different. It's hard for people to accept something new or be persuaded to do something different if the entire time they're looking at someone that's a polar opposite of themselves. People, like I said, who are like them and communicate in a very similar way. Now, this is not me saying that you need to change your identity. This is not me saying that if a customer likes the Cowboys, that you have to suddenly act like you like the Cowboys. If they like the Cowboys and you hate them, talk mess to them. Say you like the Dolphins instead. Like, be yourself. But the entry level of communication and the speed at which you talk is important to make sure they're on the same page. Let me give you an example. I'm from Texas. I'm from the Houston area. And I clearly do not look country. I don't walk around in cowboy boots. I wasn't raised on a ranch. So when I used to go out to appointments that were 2 to 3 hours away, I would go to the country. But while I don't look like it, I actually have a ton of family that grew up, that has land, that has animals, that are as country as can be, and I see them every Thanksgiving or Christmas. So I have a lot more country in me than you would expect. So when I would go out to these appointments, I'd pull up and I would have a pretty nice car. I know what I look like. So I know that those first 2 to 3 minutes, they're going to be judging me. They're going to go, who the heck is this city guy coming up here trying to sell us something? And if they look at me like that, there is not a price I could give them that would make them move forward. So what I would do is I wouldn't dress like a cowboy. I'd still dress like my normal self. I'd maybe roll up my sleeves a little bit. I'd get out of the car, and as soon as they're walking out or I'm knocking on the door, I'd say, hey, how you doing? Hey, how long have you guys lived in, and there's a city, I'll give you an example. How long have you guys lived in Brenham for? And they go, why do you ask? I go, well, the reason why I ask, my grandparents actually lived in Brenham for 18 years. I have a brother that went to Texas A&M over in College Station. I have some family over in Navasota. They have about 10, 15 acres. I live in Houston, but I'm up there all the time seeing family. And all it needed and all that did was it told those people, look, this guy is more like us than I think. He's not trying to act like something he's not, but we actually have a little bit more common ground than they could expect. And they go, oh, okay, cool. Well, where do your grandparents live? Well, how long has your brother been at A&M? Oh, my kids went to A&M. Oh, we used to live in Houston. And all of a sudden it created and sparked common ground, and it made starting the conversation really easy. I didn't start talking with a country accent, but maybe what I did is I kind of slowed the way that I communicated. I focused on building more of a relationship. In the same sense, if I was in an appointment somewhere in a nice part of Houston, and I was talking to an executive, a doctor, a dentist, who are very intelligent people, but they hate wasting their time, they hate salesiness, and they hate people who aren't direct with them. I would walk in, I'd say, hey, how you doing? Great, nice to meet you. Is the table good? Okay, perfect. How long you said you live in Houston? Oh, okay, about 10 years. Got it, completely understand. So look, what got you interested in solar? And I would be firm and direct with them, and I would build rapport in little spurts throughout the pitch and potentially at the end. But I wanted to be respectful of them and understanding they do business in a very frank, decisive, and direct way. So if I'm chatty, I'm talking about a whole bunch of nonsense when they don't care about what's the price, how much am I saving, and is this even going to make sense, and does this guy even know what the hell he's talking about? You have to know your audience. And the way you have to adjust your speaking, your tone, the way you dress, and the way you communicate needs to differ off of the people that you're communicating with.